Hey guys, Devin752 here. Today I'm going to be talking about the build that I've been playing since the start of the league, and that is Cast on Crit Arc. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the leveling process a little bit, then I'm going to go into the build itself, and all the while you're going to be looking at the gameplay in the background. So I'm just going to get right into it. The first thing I want to recommend are the uniques you can use while leveling, and these of course include the Life Sprig wands, which you can use until you kill Malachi and get cast while channeling, after which you will need to use a dagger. These wands are excellent for any spellcaster, and if you're just starting out, they will help you immensely with clearing packs and bosses. The next uniques are mostly a set I recommend for every starter, and they include Goldring for the resistances, Wanderlust for the movement speed and freeze immunity, Bated Breath for the energy shield, and last but not least, Tabula Rasa for the damage and utility. Note that once you switch to cast while channeling after killing Malachi, or cast on crit, if you have sufficient crit of course, you should get a dagger to be able to use Cyclone. The best setup would be the Widowmaker dagger and the Lycosida shield. Widowmaker will take care of the crit part, while Lycosida will take care of the accuracy. The last unique to consider while leveling is Solaris Lorica. I've used this one until I got Chefs because it walls off the chaos damage and I can focus on the energy shield items elsewhere. The only downside really is it's a strength chest and it's good for carrying your cast when damage taken setup, I suppose. This means that you will probably be using a 4-link elsewhere until you get your Chefs up and running with a 5-link. And the only upside, the only other upside to the Solaris Lorica is that you can use low life to trigger the Pain Attunement, so it can give you that slight damage boost you're gonna be lacking with a 4-link. You can carry all of these recommended items until you feel the need for a boost. After that, start considering updates to your gear. Next up is going to be the updates for the gear and how the build should look like in the end. So here we are. This is my character. This is what I've been playing the most. He's level 93. And first I'm gonna go with the gear, then I'm gonna show you the passive tree a little bit, the jewels, and that's gonna be pretty much that. So, first off, I have a rare dagger. I also recommend that you have a rare dagger as well. This is going to be your best in slot item. Of course, the more you pay, the more you get. This one, I think I got for a few chaos at the start of the league, before people started to realize, hey, this could be good for cast and critical strike. But yeah, this is a really nice crit dagger. It gives me an 8.12% critical strike chance, as you can see there. It has a pretty good crit base. It has a lot of spell damage. It has some int. And of course, it has the most important stat, +1 to level of all lightning spell skill gems. So you should look for this stat even in your primary weapon and in your offhand shield. If you can't get this stat in your offhand shield, it's no problem. As you can see, I don't have it either. I have the increased lightning damage, which is pretty much the equivalent to the +1, at least at this high value. So I have like, what does it say, 92% increased spell damage when you combine the spell damage and the lightning damage, and this is pretty much sufficient, if not more than the +1 to level of all lightning spell skill gems. But of course you can combo the +1 with spell damage and lightning damage, so maybe you can get even more, but of course you have to consider the resistances, yada yada. You're making your own character, it's going to be slightly different than mine, of course. So, the setup I'm using in my main dagger is Arcane Surge, Flame Dash, and Faster Casting. So Flame Dash and Faster Casting you want to max out. You want your Flame Dash to have some mana cost, so you can trigger level 7 Arcane Surge. It needs to be level 7 because, as you can see, it says gain Arcane Surge after spending a total of 32 mana with supported skills. Since my Flame Dash costs 23 mana and it's supported by Faster Casting, it comes out to 35 mana cost. This means that every time you cast your Flame Dash, you're going to be getting Arcane Surge. Arcane Surge at this level is going to give you 13% more spell damage. So this is just a nice damage boost to your damage. When you Flame Dash into a pack, you spin, you deal more damage. You Flame Dash again, you spin, you deal more damage. You're gonna see me doing that a lot. So this is quite important. Next up, my helmet. So a helmet, what I recommend on doing, if you want to min-max especially, you can take a energy shield base that has the lab enchant, increased arc damage, of course. If you get that lab enchant, it's gonna give you a pretty big damage boost, and then you can craft whatever you like on the helmet. I got fairly lucky, and I got these stats that you see here. It even gave me some accuracy that's gonna help with your cast and crit. I got some life, which gets converted to energy shield from presence of Chayula. It's not much, but it's something. And of course I got some resistances, 36 cold and a lot of energy shield, which is the most important part. Here you can use the fossils that give more lightning damage mods. That one can roll minus 9% to lightning resistances to enemies. This will give you basically 9% more damage on top of everything else as well. So if you want, you can play around with that a little bit. I didn't really bother, this was sufficient. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, like, the setup I'm using in my helmet is of course the Conductivity, Blasphemy, which you cast as an aura then. Here are all of my auras, as you can see. This includes this Conductivity. Herald of Thunder. Herald of Thunder is extremely important, and these are linked to blood magic. This is going to be 35% and 25%, so 60% linked on blood magic, and this is going to mostly reserve all of your life. The only thing to note is you're going to need at least a level 19 blood magic support, and you're going to need to take all of the reduced mana reservation nodes, so this one and all of these, to be able to use all your auras properly, including the one on blood magic. Herald of Thunder is extremely important, and it ties into this ring. This ring is basically a third of your damage. Is going to be a third of your damage, especially if you roll it like I did. So you want to have the increased buff effect and the increased lightning damage. This is going to be extremely beneficial to your damage output. The other ring is going to cover all of your attributes. This is going to be the strength, dexterity, intelligence. I mean, intelligence is not necessary, but strength and dexterity needs to be covered on this ring. That's why you see it has such attributes. As you can see, it's kind of stretched out even with the additional nodes. So this ring is fairly important. You need to have dexterity, strength here, and dexterity and strength here. This is going to be sufficient for your build to work. The belt is just a lot of energy shield, honestly. I even have life, which is a bonus since you have presence of Chayula. This is going to take 20% of the life into energy shield, which is always nice. It has some resistances, and that's that. The gloves, standard energy shield gloves, intelligence, even more energy shield, resistances, all that good shit. Here I put my cast one damage setup gems. So we have cast one damage taken on level 7. This requires level 50 or lower, so you want all of your other gems to be requires level 50 or lower. So I could have upgraded this, I guess, 2 more levels, steel skin. Forgot to, but yeah, so this one should be level 7, this one should be level 13. Duration you can max, but it's going to take your strength requirement even higher, so watch out for that one. And Summonize Golem. Summonize Golem, the perfect one for us. Cast and crit, you need accuracy, you need crit chance, and that's just an excellent thing to max out your stats. And my boots, also classic energy shield boots. You want your movement speed to be 30%, so you're spinning at max movement speed that you can have. 35 would be even better, but that's expensive as fuck. Get some resistances and place your remaining setup for auras in here. I mean, you can switch it around, it's not a big deal. This is going to be rolled off color. You need to do the jeweler method. If you don't know, there are a lot of videos out there, so just look for that instead of wasting many chromes. Enlighten support, breath, precision, and discipline. You want to max your precision, of course, accuracy, critical strike, imperative to the build. Discipline, you want to have the Val discipline, just so you can use your, well, mini ultimate to heal you in tight spots, in tight situations. And of course, discipline is going to give you flat amount of energy shield. And the last thing that remains is the setup in my shield. This is the War Banner. War Banner gives you a bit more accuracy. I would use it. I would recommend using it. If you have enough accuracy, you don't even need to use it. I haven't been using it for a long time, but as soon as I got my Enlighten up, I could use it properly. Even without Enlighten, as you can see, you can use all of the auras, so it shouldn't be a big deal even if you don't have Enlighten. The only problem is going to come out when you're casting Flame Dash, then this, and if you have reduced mana regeneration in your map or something like that, it's going to be a bit iffy. So I recommend having an Enlightened support, but it's not necessary. And the setup, yeah, War Banner, Orb of Storms, and increased critical strikes. This is just to proc the shock on bosses. You can proc the minimal value just by critting with Orb of Storms. This is going to give you 5% more. It's not that much, but I mean, it's something you can have if you want to. It's not really necessary. And of course, last but not least, Chevrons. It's going to give you everything you need. Blocks chaos damage, blocks everything, gives you a lot of energy shield. Well, it doesn't block everything, it blocks everything considering the chaos damage, but it gives you a lot of energy shield, and it's the best in slot item you can use as your chest. Here you're going to be having your primary setup, which is of course Cyclone, which is increased critical strike support to get that crit cap, lightning penetration, elemental focus, cast and critical strike support, and Arc, of course, the most important gem, which I recommend that you have at level 21. This is extremely important. This is going to give you quite a bit more damage compared to the level 20 gem, so make sure you have this one at level 21. You can of course level multiple arcs during leveling, which I definitely recommend. You can also carry like 2 in your shield. You can carry 3 here, 3 here. This is going to be 6 plus the 2 in your shield. This is going to be 8, and the one you're going to be carrying on yourself, this is going to be 9. You can level 9 gems, and then you can just corrupt them once they reach 2020 and try for a gem. That's what I did. I got my level 21, just one of those 9, so I recommend you do the same. This is basically that, considering the gear and the gem setup. The flasks, I'm using Atsiris Promise. This gives you 15% of the elemental damage as extra chaos damage, so this is just 15% more. You want that one. 40% increased damage, you can do anti-bleed here. That's even more damage. Critical strikes, of course. I put my Curse Immunity here. This is excellent. Anti-freeze, this is extremely necessary. You need this. You can even carry 2 anti-freeze flasks. I would even recommend that one. And the Wise Oak, of course, 14% or 15% more, depends on how you rolled it. 10 to 15% gonna give you quite a bit more damage. Just remember that you need to have your lightning resistance above all other resistances in order for this one to work. And let me just talk about the build tree a little bit. So at the start you're going to be taking some of the life nodes to the side. I recommend you follow my path of building trees. You have the leveling trees, just follow those. They're going to tell you which life nodes to take along the way, and later on to cancel them and switch to energy shell. The first ones on the Ascendancy, you're going to be taking the Unstable Infusion. Then you're going to take Deadly Infusion. Deadly Infusion enables you to use Cast on Crit. As soon as you get this, you can do Cast on Crit, no problem at all. After that, you go for the Elusive effect. This is going to give you the crit chance, attack speed, everything necessary to further improve the Cast on Crit aspect. And this one is pretty good utility, gives you a lot of movement speed. Critical strikes cannot be reflected, which is good for physical reflect maps. You're still not going to be able to do elemental reflect unless you somehow manage to get a crit cap on your spells, which is going to be really hard. And of course 20% more damage while there is at most one rare or unique enemy nearby, and this is excellent for bosses. And that's basically that. The only thing I want to also a little bit go over is the Wicked Ward. This is excellent for any kind of fight. Sometimes you can even take damage on purpose, just take a small hit somewhere, just to proc that regeneration, and for the next 4 seconds you're basically going to have a free Vaal Discipline active. This is excellent for Metamorph bosses, stuff like that. So if you see you took some damage, get out of the fight a little bit, wait for the regen. When the regen starts, you can go back, and it's going to be basically like a Vault Discipline active for the next 4 seconds. Wicked Ward is excellent. Everything else, you want to duel with attack speed, energy shield, this is excellent, and the reservation nodes, which I mentioned before. Everything else is just damage or energy shield. You can see damage, energy shield, stuff like that. And that's that. That's the whole build. I hope you guys liked the video. I hope you learned something, and I'm hoping you're gonna have some fun playing this build, at least as much as I did. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.